Beneath the radiant sunset descending over the city of Bend, Oregon, where the Deschutes River quietly winds around snow-capped mountains and vast pine forests, life seemed like a perfect painting. Tree-lined streets, crisp air, and countless outdoor activities turn this place into a paradise for souls who cherish freedom and exploration. Among them, Kaylee Sawyer, a 23-year-old girl brimming with energy and joy for life, appeared to embody optimism and vibrant vitality. But on a fateful summer night in 2016, that paradise abruptly turned into a hell when Kaylee vanished without a trace, triggering a series of horrifying events that shook the entire community, leaving scars that would never heal in the hearts of those left behind. Kaylee Sawyer was born and raised in a family that was not perfect but overflowing with love. Her parents divorced when she was very young, and both remarried, yet this did not dim the close bond Kaylee shared with them. She had a devoted father, a mother who was always her emotional anchor, and step parents she cherished like her own flesh and blood. As the eldest of four younger brothers, Kaylee always took on the role of a leader, bringing laughter and warmth to the family. With her shimmering golden hair and a smile as radiant as sunlight, she was the centerpiece of every gathering, from family dinners to friendly get-togethers. Kaylee worked as a dental assistant at a clinic in Bend, a steady job that supported her while she pursued her passion for learning at Central Oregon Community College. Beyond work and study, she immersed herself in a world of creativity. Photography, painting, and poetry were the way she captured the beauty of nature and her own emotions. The photos she took of the Deschutes River, sparkling under the sunset, or the snow-covered mountains at dawn, exuded the refinement and sensitivity of an artist's soul. The poems she wrote, often scribbled hastily in small notebooks, were confessions of her dreams, love, and fleeting moments of sadness. Her creativity didn't stop there. Kaylee was also a lover of sports and outdoor activities. She enjoyed skiing down the snow-covered slopes of the Cascades, playing golf on lush green fields, fishing by the tranquil river, and wakeboarding on the lake during bright summer days. To Kaylee, Bend was not just a place to live. It was a vast playground where she savored every moment of her life. Her days seemed like a string of beautiful moments alongside her boyfriend Cameron, with whom she had been together for a few years. They often explored trails together, camped under starry skies, or simply sat side by side watching the sunset. Everyone thought they would soon get engaged, that Kaylee and Cameron were a perfect couple. But on the night of July 23, 2016, all that beauty was torn apart by a tragedy no one could have foreseen. The fateful night begins. That evening, Kaylee prepared to attend a close friend's bachelorette party. She stood in front of the mirror, slipping into a light dress, applying a touch of lipstick, and smiling at her reflection. "Tonight's going to be fun," she said to Cameron before leaving the apartment they shared. She drove to her friend's house in downtown Bend, a lively area near the Central Oregon Community College campus, where bars and restaurants buzzed with activity on weekends. After parking her car, Kaylee joined her group of friends for a night of revelry, moving from one bar to another, drinking, dancing, singing, and playing games. The air was filled with laughter, wine glasses glinted under the lights, and lively music made everyone lose track of time. At a crowded bar, Kaylee danced carefree with a stranger. She didn't think much of it. To her, it was just a fleeting moment of fun in the night's festivities. But a friend of Cameron's who happened to be there texted him, "Kaylee's dancing with some guy. You okay?" Cameron read the message, a wave of unease rising within him, but he didn't respond immediately. He knew Kaylee was friendly, always at ease with people, and he tried to push the suspicion aside. Near midnight, as the party began to wind down, Kaylee had drunk quite a bit. She felt dizzy, her legs shaky as she stepped out of the last bar. Glancing at her watch, she called Cameron. "Can you come pick me up?" "I can't drive." Her voice was slurred from the alcohol, yet it still carried a hint of the evening's lingering cheer. Cameron agreed, though he was still irritated by the earlier text. He drove to the meeting spot, and when Kaylee got into the car, the atmosphere between them instantly grew tense. As soon as the car door closed, Cameron couldn't hold back and asked about the man she danced with. Kaylee, annoyed, snapped back. The argument escalated quickly, their sharp words cutting into the once peaceful fabric of their relationship like knives. Cameron accused her of disrespecting him, while Kaylee shouted that he was too controlling and didn't trust her. When the car pulled up to their apartment complex, "I need space, Cameron. Stop pushing me," she said through sobs. Furious, Cameron opened the door and stepped out, leaving Kaylee crying in the car. He slammed the door and walked inside without looking back, thinking she'd soon follow him in, as she had after minor arguments before. But this time was different. 10 minutes later, when his anger subsided and he went back out to convince her to come inside, the car door was wide open and the passenger seat was empty. Kaylee was gone. Cameron called out to her in the darkness in a panic, "Kaylee, where are you?" He ran around the apartment complex, peering into every shadow, but there was no sign of her. He texted her repeatedly, "Where are you, Kaylee? Please come home to me. I don't want to play this game." A reply came from Kaylee, "My phone's about to die." Then another, short and cold, "Are you kidding? Goodbye." After that, her phone went dead, no signal left. Cameron drove around College Way, near the Central Oregon Community College campus, hoping to spot her walking. He called her friends, went to her mother's house, even checked with her father, but no one knew where she was. Her mother, Julie, started calling too, her voice trembling as she realized her daughter wasn't answering. "Kaylee would never do this," Julie said to her husband, a sense of dread surging in her chest. As the clock ticked into July 24th, family and friends slipped into a state of panic. Finally, Cameron dialed 911. "My girlfriend's missing. She got mad at me and left after we argued. I can't find her, and her phone's off." The desperate search. The Bend police sprang into action. Cameron recounted the details. After their argument, Kaylee stayed in the car near the apartment complex on College Way. He admitted to leaving her there in anger, but insisted he hadn't harmed her.
Hi. I'm not sure if this is quite the right number to call. Last night I got home from the bars with my girlfriend, and she got upset at me and ran off. And I chased her and wasn't able to find her, and I still haven't heard from her. Her phone's off. I called all her family, and they haven't heard from her, so I'm wondering what you recommend I do.
We can put in a call, and we can have officers or deputies look for her.
Okay.
Where was she last seen at?
College Way.
In that apartment complex?
Yes.
In a specific apartment, or?
In the parking lot. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, she was mad at me, so I walked inside and told her to come meet me in there when she's like, calm down. And then I went back out in 10 minutes and she was gone. And I called her a few times and she said she was walking down the street. And then I guess she said her phone was about to die. And then I couldn't get a hold of her after that. I haven't heard from her since.
Okay. She took off on foot?
Yes.
What's her last name?
Sawyer.
First name?
Kaylee. Kaylee.
And she's got her phone with her?
She did last I saw her, but it's been dead all day, and
what's the phone
I imagine she would charge it.
Do you know what carrier it is?
It is Verizon. She has a vehicle. It's parked at her friend's house, and I've been over there and talked to her friend, and she hasn't heard from her either.
And the vehicle's still there?
Yep.
Any idea where she would go, or?
I don't know. I figured she'd go where her car was to her best friend's or her mom's, and I've been over to both. Talked to her dad, and I just haven't heard anything from anybody knowing this.
Okay. All right, we'll have an officer get in contact with you. If she gets in contact with you, they'll give us a call back.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Julie also called the police, emphasizing that Kaylee had epilepsy and health issues, despite being an adult. "She'd never disappear like this without a word," Julie said, tears streaming down her cheeks.
Yes, I need to have an officer call me. My daughter is missing, and she is over 23, but she has epilepsy and some medical issues.
All right. And what is your name?
My name is Julie, Juli.
Okay. I'm going to have the officer who spoke with her boyfriend earlier give you a call, okay?
That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Kaylee's name spread rapidly across social media. Pleas for help popped up on Facebook and Twitter, accompanied by a photo of her beaming during a skiing trip. Hundreds of volunteers, friends, family, and kind strangers hit the streets to search. They fanned out across Bend, from the small streets near COCC to the forests along the Deschutes River. The community united in a fragile hope that Kaylee was just hiding somewhere to cool off after the fight, that she'd soon reappear with her familiar smile. The police questioned Cameron immediately. He gave a clear account, his eyes red from lack of sleep and worry. Detectives found no suspicious signs in his story, and he was quickly ruled out as a suspect. The friends she'd partied with were also interviewed, but they only knew she left the bar drunk and called Cameron for a ride. The man she danced with was tracked down. He said he danced with her for a few minutes before she rejoined her group, and he had nothing to do with her disappearance. Shocked by the news, he even offered to join the search. As time passed, hope faded. By Monday morning, Kaylee didn't show up at the dental clinic where she worked. The manager called Julie to ask what was wrong, intensifying her fear. The police listed Kaylee as an endangered missing person, expanding the search. They tried to locate her phone, but the signal pointed to an old iPhone no longer in use, still registered under her Apple ID. The Bend community sank into anxiety, unaware that a horrifying truth was about to emerge from an unexpected source, someone within the police force itself. On Monday morning, Isabelle Ponce, a rookie officer at the Bend Police Department, walked into the station with a pale face and trembling hands. She asked to speak to the lead detective, her voice breaking. "I need to talk. My husband, he's involved in something terrible." Isabelle explained that her husband, Edwin Lara, 31, had been acting strangely since coming home late Sunday morning after a night shift at Central Oregon Community College, where he worked as a campus security guard. Edwin and Isabel's marriage had been strained for a long time. He often worked night shifts with erratic schedules, so she was used to his silence when he got home. But this time was different. On the way to church Sunday morning, Edwin was unusually quiet, not holding her hand as usual, his gaze vacant. Isabelle assumed he was just upset, so she didn't press him. They attended church together, where Edwin played in the band.
Like when he works a graveyard like he did on Saturday night, he starts at like 3 p.m. What time? Like, does he work like a 12-hour shift or?
It's always changing.
It's always changing.
It's always unpredictable. So I actually was on the point that I didn't even know when he was going to be working or not.
So what time is church on Sunday?
9 in the morning.
Okay. Are you noticing anything weird at all at this point?
So yeah, so he was very quiet, like on the way to church. Wasn't saying much. This is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
At church, he was just very quiet, very just withdrawn. Like he would usually like grab my hand or something. He wasn't doing that. So when we get out of church, I asked him, "What's wrong with you? What's going on?" And I told him, we've been together for a very long time. I know something's up.
Could you get some Kleenex?
Yeah. Do you want something to drink?
No.
Then went to see a movie. But his odd behavior persisted. On Monday morning, when Isabelle woke up, she found Edwin sitting on the couch, eyes red, tears streaming down. "What's wrong with you?" she asked, turning off the TV to focus on him. Edwin bowed his head, his voice shaking. "I killed a woman." Isabelle froze, thinking she'd misheard. "What are you saying? Was it a car accident?" she pressed, but Edwin only repeated, "I panicked. I killed her." He said it happened during his Saturday night to Sunday morning shift, but didn't specify the time.
He comes out of the room, and his eyes were all teary. That's what I'm like, "What happened? Tell me what happened. What's wrong?" So he sits on the sofa. I turn off the TV, and then he just says that. He's like, I kill a woman, that's what he said. So you hit her with the car, that's an accident.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean you panic? What do you mean?
And what did he say?
He just kept saying, "I panic," and at that point he's already, like, he got up and he's already, like, going into the room and walking back and forth. And I'm not really quite understanding what he's telling me. And then I'm like, "So what did you do with the body? What?" And he's like, "I hit her." And I'm like, and then I kept asking him, "What does it got to do with you hitting her and now you panic and you hit the body?"
So it didn't make sense to you?
It wasn't making sense to me.
He revealed he'd hidden the victim's belongings in the shed behind their house, then suddenly stood, grabbed Isabelle's service pistol, and left. She chased after him, shouting, "Edwin, where are you going? Explain this to me." But he was gone out the door.
But when I saw the stuff, I'm like, oh fuck.
Did he say when this happened?
So you just said.
He's just telling the story.
He just when he was working that Sunday morning, he didn't give me like a time.
Police rushed to Isabelle and Edwin's home in Redmond, not far from Bend. In the shed, they found Kaylee's wallet, ID, the shoes she'd worn that night, a blood-stained rock, and a clump of blonde hair, almost certainly Kaylee's. These items didn't align with Edwin's accident story. The bloodied rock and hair pointed to a brutal attack, not a random collision. Detectives concluded this was a deliberate murder. Edwin had vanished before the police could act. He left his car at his parents' house in Redmond and embarked on a multi-state crime spree. In Salem, Oregon, about 130 miles from Bend, he spotted Andrea Maes, a 19-year-old sitting in her car after a 12-hour shift at a convenience store. As Andrea opened her window to enjoy the cool breeze, a figure suddenly lunged forward, pointing a gun through the opening and yelling, "Drive!" Terrified, she complied as Edwin jumped into the passenger seat, handcuffed her, and forced her to switch to the other side so he could take the wheel. For the next 3 hours, Edwin drove through dark roads, talking to Andrea as he went. He showed her photos of himself in his campus security uniform, speaking about the news regarding Kaylee as if it were a trophy. "That girl in Bend, she's gone," he said, his cold stare sending chills down Andrea's spine. She refused to answer his questions about her family and life, enraging him. He pressed the gun to her thigh, growling, "Do you think this is a joke? I'll shoot you right now." Though terrified, Andrea stayed silent, trying to find a way to survive. Edwin stopped at a rundown motel on Interstate 5. He forced Andrea to pose as his girlfriend while checking in, keeping the gun in hand to threaten her. Inside the room, he handcuffed her to the bathroom door while he showered, then ordered her to shower in front of him. Andrea staunchly refused. "I'd rather die." Her defiance angered Edwin, but he didn't push further. He made her lie on the bed, handed her a sleeping pill, and commanded, "Take it." Just then, an alarm on her phone went off. In a desperate moment, Andrea lied that it was a reminder to take medication, claiming she had a sexually transmitted disease. Edwin panicked, leapt from the bed, and abandoned his intent to assault her. At midnight, Edwin grew paranoid, imagining police helicopters circling. He dragged Andrea out of the motel, driving until 5 a.m. before stopping at another one. There he approached and threatened a 73-year-old man named Jack Levy to steal his car but failed. Edwin shot him in the stomach, though the victim miraculously survived.
The guy initially said, "You must have found the wrong room." The next thing I recall is Edwin Lara flashing his gun, and I yelled for help, said, "I'll shoot you," and I yelled for help again, and he shot me.
The gun just went off, and everything just kind of went black in my head. And then I'm like thinking, well, I just seen him shoot someone in front of me.
He forced Andrea to run to a nearby gas station, where he carjacked a 76-year-old woman's vehicle with her 2 young grandsons inside. Using the gun, he made one of the teens drive briefly before releasing them, all 3 unharmed.
He was just walking towards our car, and then I turned around again like 3 seconds later. He had just thrown the girl into our car, slammed the door shut, and he pointed a gun at my head saying, like, "Drive or I'll shoot."
Edwin continued fleeing with Andrea toward California, where he had family. On the road, Edwin used Andrea's phone to record a confession video. Facing the camera, he said, "I'm sorry for everything I've done. The girl in Central Oregon, I regret it." He made Andrea post it on Facebook with the title, "Murderer on the Loose."
Hi, everybody. I just want to say that I apologize for everything I've done. Most likely I'm going to get caught. And sorry about that girl in Central Oregon. And I just want to let family members, Andrea, that she's fine and she will be fine since so far she's been doing what I've been told to do. I used to kill that other girl, and I regret it. I regret killing her. She kept screaming, and I silent her forever.
Then called 911. I'm Edwin Lara, wanted for murder in Oregon. I'll turn myself in.
911 emergency reporting.
Yes, hi. This is Edwin Lara, and I'm the guy on Interstate 5, going at high speed. I know you guys have the chopper on me already.
Yeah.
And, I just want to say I am going to turn myself in. So, I am wanted for murder in the state of Oregon.
Okay. Edwin, where are you at right now?
I have no idea.
Are you by yourself or?
No, I have someone with me. I kidnapped her in Oregon. She's innocent. Her name is Andrea. I'll let her give her last name so you can call her family, okay?
Okay.
Just give me a second.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. What's your name?
Andrea.
Andrea, what's your last name?
Maes, M-A-E-S.
Okay, are you hurt at all, Andrea?
No.
No? Okay. Do you know where you are? Let me talk to Edwin again.
But I want to ask you a favor.
Uh-huh.
So I have asthma.
You have asthma? Okay.
Yeah, so you tell them not to be too rough on me because, I can barely breathe right now.
Okay. The officer sees you, and are you able to safely stop?
Yeah, I can stop, but not right now. I just don't want to stop right here in the middle of the road, putting myself in danger and putting everybody else in danger, more in danger, I guess.
They won't. They're aware. I'll let them know they won't. But if you can stop safely, they just don't want you to run. They think you're trying to run or anything.
Okay.
Edwin, do you have any weapons with you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I do have a gun on me. I am not going to flash the gun, so you tell them not to shoot me.
Okay.
I don't want to die.
Okay, you stick by your word, though. I'll let them know.
Yeah, I'm going to let them know. Don't hurt Andrea. She's a nice girl. Don't hurt her. I'm actually calling my family just to say bye to them. So once I'm done calling all my family, then I'll turn myself in.
A California Highway Patrol officer spotted the suspicious car speeding and tried to pull it over. Finally, Edwin stopped, raised his hands, and surrendered. Andrea, though innocent, was also arrested but later released when police confirmed she was a victim too. During interrogation in California, Edwin initially claimed he accidentally hit Kaylee with his patrol car during his night shift and strangled her when she screamed in panic. But his story was riddled with holes. Detectives pressed him. If it was an accident, why hide the body? Why the blood-stained rock? Edwin was a devout man, a fact the police leveraged. Under pressure, he gradually confessed the chilling truth. He'd followed Kaylee after she left Cameron's car on College Way. Seeing her walking alone at night, he drove up in his patrol car, offering a friendly ride home. The Central Oregon Community College patrol car had a cage back, locked from the inside, a design nearly identical to a real police vehicle, and his uniform made Kaylee trust him enough to get in. But once the door shut, her fate was sealed. Edwin demanded sex, and when Kaylee resisted, he strangled her until she passed out. He drove away from the city lights to a remote spot off Highway 126, where only darkness and deadly silence reigned. Her screams pierced the night, but no one heard. Her dreams, poems, and photos vanished in that nightmare. He continued strangling her, smashed her head with a rock, and raped her as she clung to life. Finally, he used another rock to end her life, leaving her body in a canyon. Then he returned to campus, switched vehicles to cover his tracks, and went home as if nothing had happened. Kaylee's body was found thanks to Edwin's directions, lying cold among bushes and rocks in the canyon. Julie, her mother, said she felt her daughter was gone the moment she heard she was missing. I felt an emptiness in my heart, like her soul had left me, she told reporters, tears rolling down her haggard cheeks.
So a couple things you need to understand, and we're finally getting to the real problem here. We really are. Is you knew she was never getting out the car the moment you shut that door. Well, let me finish. You need to let me finish, right? Immediately, you go to give me your purse and your phone.
Well, I knew she wasn't going to get out.
She wasn't going to survive that encounter, was she?
This is where it does not make sense. If your intent isn't already there to do some kind of harm or some kind of evil to her, some friggin' evil that's there, bro. It's there. You just gotta face it down, man. You can't cower away from it. You face that damn thing down right now. If you know the only way, if you don't have intent in her head, your thought is, I got to keep that phone away from her because she's going to call from help before anything bad's even happened. You've already made a decision. Am I right or am I wrong? Help me.
So I made the decision at that time to silence her.
To kill her. Let's be real. When you say silence her, you mean kill her. Is that correct?
Okay. Because
When did you make that decision?
when she started screaming, because she had seen my face.
But you already grabbed her phone. You already kept her away from making a call for help or contacting someone. So you're already preserving yourself. So I'm thinking it's before. When you ask for the purse, I think you already know in your head, I'm going to silence her. I'm going to kill her.
She honestly thought that I was going to do something.
You were, man. And when that's
Because-
the problem. Right now, you were. You absolutely
At first I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No.
Edwin faced multiple charges: aggravated murder, kidnapping, carjacking, and assault. Though he confessed in detail during interrogation, his statement was thrown out by the court because California police violated his rights by denying him a lawyer after his arrest. Prosecutors had to rely on forensic evidence: blood on the rock, Kaylee's hair in the patrol car, and marks on her body. Edwin's attorney claimed his actions stem from a genetic degenerative cognitive brain disability. Prosecutors labeled him a psychopath and potential serial killer. In 2018, to avoid the death penalty, Edwin pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and robbery, not to sexual assault, and was sentenced to life without parole. He also received a second life sentence for kidnapping Andrea. Kaylee's family relentlessly pursued justice. They sued Central Oregon Community College for hiring Edwin without a thorough background check and allowing security staff to use caged vehicles and police-like uniforms, enabling his abuse of power and contributing to Kaylee's death. A female security officer had once refused to work with Edwin because he frightened her, but management ignored it. The family won, receiving $2 million in compensation in 2022. Edwin's wife filed for divorce and resigned from the Bend Police Department. In her resignation letter, she wrote, "This decision isn't easy, but I can't continue after what my husband did." Andrea, though a survivor, suffered severe psychological trauma. She fell into depression, but, with time and support from Kaylee's family, recovered, calling herself a warrior for overcoming the nightmare. Kaylee's family turned their pain into positive action. They founded KK Readers, KK being Kaylee's nickname, donating children's books, especially Dr. Seuss's Oh, the Places You'll Go, her favorite, to kids in Central Oregon. Julie said, "The first time I held Kaylee, I knew love at first sight was real. She lived 23 wonderful years, and I want people to remember that." Kaylee's tragedy also spurred significant legal changes. On May 25, 2019, Oregon Governor Kate Brown signed into law Senate Bill 576, known as Kaylee's Law. Under the law, campus security vehicles, uniforms, and equipment cannot appear to be those of law enforcement. The vehicles cannot have rooftop lights or a push bumper in front. Vehicles cannot have a divider, known as a cage, between the front and back seats. They must have GPS, an interior video camera, or dispatch system that is recorded. Ben remains picturesque, but her memory lingers as an unhealed scar in the community. A reminder that even in paradise, darkness can strike unexpectedly. Yet her legacy endures through books given to children, laws reformed, and the undying love of her family and community for a girl who lived fully in her brief but brilliant 23 years. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. Subscribing to us and hitting the like button would be a huge motivation for us to create more videos. Thank you.